This video isn't going to be as long as the last one, but it's also an important issue. It is about the subject of safe zones in universities, British universities. Basically, from what I understand of this, in a number of British universities, there is a concept of a room or a space whereby student groups who feel like they are somehow part of an oppressed minority can go and convene among themselves. But these so-called safe zones are explicitly exclusive to other groups. Now, there's been a controversy at Goldsmiths College in London recently. I may have made a video on this, but I want to cover the wider issues as well because there's been more developments on it actually. So basically, there is a so-called diversity officer. She was recently elected. She's 27 years old. Her name's Bahar Mustafa. Um, she has become a very controversial figure in her time as diversity officer because at one particular event, dated 15th of April, she made this post. I think this is from Twitter. I guess it would be from, no, it's too long to be from Twitter. But anyway, it's a public post. I think it's Facebook actually. Hey, I made as many of you hosts, so please invite lots of BME women and non-binary people. Also, if you've been invited and you're a man or white, please don't come. That's in block capitals. Just because I invited a bunch of people and hope you will be responsible enough to respect this as a BME women and non-binary event only. Don't worry, lads. We will give you and allies things to do. Um, so basically, she is explicitly discriminating against men, white men, and white women. So this event is only for ethnic minority women, basically. That got enough heat as it was. Within the university itself, the petition was too small to change any particular action. But there was a change.org petition that got over 20,000 signatures because this was reported in national newspapers. And on this occasion, I'm pleased it was. Now, it would be easy to dismiss someone like Bahar Mustafa as a crank, as an extremist, which he clearly is. Incidentally, if you think that's trivial, bear in mind this woman has been investigated for allegedly tweeting a post joking, apparently about killing all white men. She's clearly a hate-filled extremist, and I would have contempt for her if I didn't think she had serious mental health issues. The problem is she's in a position of authority, and that's why this is problematic. Now, of um, the whole concept of these safe zones is that people who are feel they may be victimized in some way can have a safe place to gather. Now, a long time ago, when I was a teenager, I done some volunteer work at a women's refuge centre, and they had a rule about no men allowed. Now, the principle of that was these were women who'd been through a traumatic experience, and the very appearance of men was, in their perception, make them uneasy. I can understand that. I can understand where it comes from. But in a university environment, I think all it will do is create deeper mistrust, deeper tensions, and create resentment. I mean, what about white liberal-minded men who are very passionate about gay rights, about women's rights? What about white male feminists, for example? Where do they die with someone like Bahar Mustafa? Clearly, she is an extremist, and I don't know how anyone can rationally condone her behaviour. Her apologies were absolutely half-hearted, and initially she didn't even bother apologising. She claimed that she couldn't be racist or sexist because she's a minority woman. Well, that's just ridiculous. My outlook is if you claim to be against these things, then you're against them universally, or you're a nauseating hypocrite. So I'm very skeptical of this notion of safe zones at universities. If there is a specific issue of students being harassed, those issues should be dealt with. But I don't believe creating a sort of privileged zone and isolating people helps. It further creates a stereotype that they are victims, so it doesn't actually help them. B, it isolates other students who may have absolutely nothing to do with the alleged harassment or whatever it is that's going on. It's collective punishment. And I just see it being completely misguided. I mean, all that does, creating this division among people, is increase barriers and mistrust and tensions. So if Goldsmiths has any integrity, they would fire her from her position immediately. The fact they haven't says a lot. I confronted them on their Facebook page, and I just got a smug response from some guy preaching to me about some politically correct notion that he had of how I perceived the situation, and it was beyond crap, quite frankly. Um, I'm not saying that there wouldn't be legitimate issues on campus to do with sexual harassment or anything like that. So I'm not downplaying those issues. What I'm saying is that clearly this approach is counterproductive and divisive. And I've no respect for Bahar Mustafa. You know, shame on her. And the thing is, she's not a little girl. She's 27 years old, so she's got no excuses. I think she should be sacked immediately. And if we have a consensus that someone makes threats against a specific group, and that is considered a hate crime, then yes, she should be investigated by the police and action should be taken against her. Because the problem is, people like her think they can get away with anything. She sees herself, oh, I'm ethnic minority. I'm not sure what her background is, but she sees herself as ethnic minority woman. Therefore, I can never be, I can never be bigoted. I can never be prejudiced. The problem is that is precisely what she is, and she's a complete joke, quite frankly. And anyone who supports her, shame on you as well. Uh, you know, as a white man, I will always, always, always defend any LGBT friends, female friends, or ethnic minority friends. But I'll be damned if I let anyone make me feel guilty for something that's beyond my control, i.e., the fact that I'm male and the fact that I'm white. To hell with that notion. Absolutely to hell with that notion, because it's it's a dumbing down of common sense. And you know, frankly, I'm not going to waste much more time in this because there's not much more to say. But shame on Goldsmiths for not taking action, and it says a lot about their credentials. I do hope they suffer in terms of their credibility, their reputation. They've brought it on themselves. There's no one to blame but themselves. Um, and some sort of boycott would be in order, I think, or some sort of action, peaceful action against this institution, because it is an utter disgrace that they allow an extremist to retain her senior position within the students' union. Because you'd be damn sure if this was a man making sexist comments or homophobic comments or anything else, it wouldn't be tolerated. Nor should it be.